Good morning. I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. We know that the dangers from wildfires are top of mind for so many San Diegans. Drought, climate change, high winds, record heat, lightning strikes, all of these conditions are facing us today and creating historic fire dangers. And in San Diego County, across all of our jurisdictions, we take the increased risk of wildfire very seriously. And we are doing everything we possibly can as a region to be able to protect our communities. All of those individuals here represent entities throughout our county, and there are many more that work every single day tirelessly to ensure that we are ready to meet the challenges that our community may face. If there's one thing we collectively want you to take away from today, it is that San Diego County is prepared and ready to respond to wildfires. And that is thanks to the incredible hard work and diligence of our fire services, of our law enforcement agencies, of our nonprofit communities, of our partners in the utility industry, and so many others. And as chair of the Board of Supervisors, I have the great honor of also serving as president of the San Diego County Fire Protection District and chair of the Unified Disaster Council. In my time in these roles, and through countless conversations, not just with Chief Meacham, but with Chief Meacham, with Under Sheriff Martinez, with Chief Stoll, with so many people throughout our region, I have been thoroughly impressed with the operations that they have in place, the planning that they do, and the unprecedented level of collaboration and coordination in San Diego County. Our county, along with our partners like the County Office of Emergency Services, the Sheriff's Department, San Diego Fire Rescue, our friends and allies in the U.S. Forest Service, and many other, have the training, equipment, and experience in fire prevention, protection, and suppression, and they are ready to respond. Every day, these individuals are willing to put their life on the line to run towards the sound of danger to protect not just people and property in our environment. And with every ounce of appreciation and gratitude we have, I want to tell all of those who are involved in preparing to respond to disasters, you have our appreciation and our thanks. We value what you do, but we're also here to support you. We are here as the policymakers to ensure that our region is ready to respond, to make investments where they need to be made, and to continually ask ourselves, what else could we do? What more could we do? What other equipment or tools or staffing do you need? And we will never stop asking those questions and never stop pushing to ensure that we're doing everything we can. A big part of what we have to do well is not only us be ready, but to have San Diegans be ready. Every one of us has a job to do. The individual standing here with me today, they have a job to do, but every San Diegan has a job to do to be ready. Signing up for text alerts, having an evacuation plan, preparing your home. And so we're here today to talk not only about why we're ready, but how San Diegans can be ready. And with me and to focus on some of these issues is my colleague, Supervisor Joel Anderson, who has experienced the need to evacuate, whose district and communities are often hardest hit. And I appreciate Supervisor Anderson's support and leadership on this issue and everything he is doing to make sure his communities are prepared. In the last 2 decades, the County of San Diego has invested almost $600 million towards expanding our fire capacity. We have to do this because the dangers of fire have expanded as well. Just last week, or just this week actually, as a board, we voted to invest more than $2.5 million in roadside vegetation management. This is designed to make sure the evacuation routes remain evacuation routes and remain open. We all saw what happened in Paradise. We don't want that to happen. It's also taking into account the large number of fires that can get started on roadside. A car crash, dragging a chain, something happens, you ignite the vegetation around there. But again, this is just one piece of dozens and dozens of different strategies that we take. In our most recent budget, we increased staffing for our fire service to get more firefighters out there to be able to respond. We continue to make investments in risk reduction, public education, things like the residential Knox box program. All of these things come together. But even with everything we're doing, I commit today and moving forward that I will keep working with regional leaders to explore anything else we need to do. Because as the threat continues to evolve and change, we must also continue to evolve and change. We must push ourselves. I've been convening a lot of fire stakeholders and leaders to ask these simple questions, and we will continue those efforts in the future because the dangers are going to continue to increase. Last year alone, California experienced 6 of the largest and most destructive wildfires in our state's history in 1 year. More than 4 million acres were burned. And while the severity of what we saw in other parts of the state did not hit us here, we know that it can. The Valley Fire that burned southeast of Alpine last year destroyed 30 homes, forced 1,400 residents to evacuate, and we know our county has significantly high and very high fire hazard severity zones. And so we will continue to do everything we can, but we stand before you today prepared and ready for the dangers we face. I want to walk you quickly through a list of some of the equipment we have on hand to fight fires. There are 13 aircraft available, similar to the ones you see behind me, from 5 different agencies: the U.S. Forest Service, CAL FIRE, County Fire, San Diego County Fire, SDG&E, here in San Diego in partnership with the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. For the ground attack, there are 18 engines from the U.S. Forest Service, 27 engines from CAL FIRE, San Diego County Fire Protection District. We have 3 water tenders from the U.S. Forest Service, 4 CAL FIRE bulldozers, and 12 hand crews. And when surge capacity is needed, San Diego County Fire has an additional 23 fire engines and 10 water tenders. But again, that fire does not know jurisdictional boundaries. It doesn't stop at the edge of one jurisdiction and await permission to go into the next, which means our agencies must all work together, and they do. And represented here today are some of those agencies. Chief Tony Meacham, CAL FIRE San Diego Fire Protection District. Our Undersheriff Kelly Martinez. The relationship between our law enforcement and fire is critical to everything that we do. Commander Teresa Adams-Hyder from the Sheriff's Department. We spent a lot of time together on COVID, and now we're back doing these types of things. I mentioned Supervisor Anderson, who's here. Jeff Toney, the County Director of Office of Emergency Services. Chief Mike Nobles, Cleveland National Forest. The chief there had an opportunity to talk with the chief and some of his firefighters, and we appreciate what they do in our national forest. Captain Rick Lopez, San Diego County Fire Department. Nick Brown, CAL FIRE Aviation Chief. Sergeant Scott Bly, San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Fire Captain Thomas Schutz, CAL FIRE, San Diego County Fire District. Lieutenant Amber Braggs, Sheriff's Department. Lieutenant Daryl Stoll, Sheriff's Department. Deputy Derek Ralph, Sheriff's Department. Deputy Gary Nishaw with the Sheriff's Department. Sean Mahoney, Regional Chief Executive Officer of the American Red Cross, a vital component of all of our evacuation plans. Carolyn Wynn, the CEO of SDG&E. SDG&E continues to be a partner to make investments, to work with our region in efforts to avoid these challenges. Also here with us from SDG&E is Kevin Garrity. We have Paul Redfern, Chief Finance Officer for 211 San Diego, again, a part of the regional infrastructure. Ray Cheney, Director of Emergency Services, 211, and Luis Montenegro, Vice President of Community Relations, 211, knows a little bit about the county. And so all of these individuals come together every single day to prepare our region, and I want you to hear from a few of them, but know that there are many more every single day working to help our region. So first up today, we have Chief Tony Meacham, CAL FIRE, San Diego County Fire Protection District, who's leading the charge in fire preparedness and response. I appreciate Chief Meacham tremendously, and I want to welcome to the podium.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chair Fletcher. As the Chairman mentioned, we are facing an unprecedented wildfire crisis across California and the western United States. Although last year was a bad year, this year is already shaping up to be worse. We so far statewide have responded to 4,100 wildfires. That is 1,200 more fires than we responded to last year. Already this year in San Diego County, we burned more than 7,000 acres with 5 major incidents. And just yesterday, we had a nearly 60-acre fire that threatened the community of Tecate along the border. So we know in San Diego County and across California that we are going to face these ever-increasing fire conditions. And while we are prepared to respond, and that's the topic today, I really think that the solution to this problem is what do we do ahead of the wildfire? And so I want to talk a little bit about our efforts to create wildfire resiliency in San Diego. The first thing that we have done is the County of San Diego created a comprehensive community risk reduction program. We took all of our pre-fire activities, from educating school children to defensible space to the evacuation corridor to land use planning, and we put those all into one program so that they work seamlessly with a focus on reducing the risk. The reality is we are always going to have fires in San Diego County. We live in a fire environment, but what efforts can we take to reduce that risk? We have increased our funding to look at our land use planning and where we build homes and how we build homes. Over the past year, we've worked with 15 communities to update their community wildfire protection plans. Many of these plans focus on evacuation corridors and how are we going to get our residents to safety. With the support of the governor and the legislature, over $1 billion is being invested in pre-fire activities. Much of that money is flowing to San Diego County. This year we've done projects in...
Stop you for 1 second, I'm sorry. One of our helicopters just got a call. They're going to have to take off, so we're just going to pause for a minute, and then we'll have Chief pick up right where he is after they take off.
Awesome.
Sorry, Chief.
Thank you all for that, but we didn't want to interrupt the operations here. So as I said, we have been focusing on fuels reduction projects in the community of Rancho Santa Fe, Deer Springs, Crest, and all along the border. We've conducted over 26,000 defensible and space inspections. The County of San Diego has purchased additional heavy equipment so that we can continue our efforts to work roadside clearance for evacuations. And we now have full-time staff focused on educating our communities. We hope all of these efforts will lead to more wildland resilient communities. But we also know, as much as we want to prepare, that we are going to have fires in San Diego County. So I want to highlight just a few of the efforts that we've undertaken this year. CAL FIRE has hired over 120 net new firefighter positions just for San Diego County. We have increased our hand crews in a partnership with the California National Guard and the California Conservation Corps. We have initiated a nearly $6.5 million project to increase the capacity at the Ramona Air Attack Base. Through the efforts of Chair Fletcher, Supervisor Anderson, and the rest of our Board of Supervisors, we have completed the staffing upgrade for the County Fire Protection District to ensure we have 3 people on every fire engine serving our communities. We are continuing our long-standing relationship with San Diego Gas and Electric for operation of the Type 1 helitanker and a second helicopter. This is an unparalleled partnership not seen anywhere else in the state of California, where public safety and the private sector work together towards a common goal. We have installed additional fire cameras. We have installed advanced fire modeling software that is available to all of our fire ground commanders. I have that software on my phone, and within a minute of the first 911 dispatch, I can run advanced software modeling and look at the threat of what that fire will be over the next hours. However, the thing that sets San Diego County apart, and I think I am most proud of, is that we approach the fire service problem collectively as a region. And I could not ask for a finer group of individuals than those people standing behind me. Chief Mike Nobles and our U.S. Forest Service counterparts operate seamlessly. A lot of times the people don't think about the folks in the green engines, but they are integral to the safety of San Diego County. I have said many times, we have the finest wildland firefighting sheriff's department in the state of California. And Kelly Martinez and her deputies, not only the deputies that pilot these aircraft, but our deputies that put themselves in harm's way to do evacuations, are unparalleled in their response. Colin Stoll in the city of San Diego and all of our other fire service chiefs, we do not look at our individual jurisdictions. We focus on what is collectively good for the region. And if I need to send 15 fire engines to help Chief Stoll, or he needs to send 15 fire engines, those things are done seamlessly. Jeff Toney in our Office of Emergency Services coordinates things. A lot of people don't think about drinking water or the public health effects of smoke for our senior populations. But Jeff Toney and our Office of Emergency Service, they seamlessly coordinate all of the other impacts that occur during a wildland fire. So we are preparing not only for wildfire resilient communities, but also to respond. But I want to leave you with this today. We need our communities to engage in the wildfire problem. I plead with our communities, do your defensible space. When we have an approaching wildland fire, we are faced with the choice of hundreds of homes being threatened. Our firefighters are going to choose the home with the best chance of success, and that starts with the homeowner performing their defensible space clearance. Number 2, please make sure your address is posted. We have to know where we're at, whether it be a fire or a medical emergency. Something as simple as posting your address can save minutes during an emergency. And finally, have a plan. Know what to do ahead of the fire. So please visit readyforwildfire.org. I thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning, and I'll turn it back to Chairman Fletcher.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you, Chief. You know, the dangers of fire are not a rural or an urban issue. It is a regional issue. And so in that spirit, we are so fortunate to have with us here today Chief Colin Stowell from Chief of City of San Diego Fire Rescue to talk about the collaboration and the efforts. But again, fire is a regional issue. It impacts every jurisdiction. It is a threat to every jurisdiction and every part, whether you are in a rural area or an urban area, and we view it as such, and we collaborate and coordinate as such. And so, Chief Stowell, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate all you do.
Well, thank you, Chair Fletcher, for the invitation to be here today. The fire agencies in our county have long-standing and strong relationships which are truly beneficial to the people who live here in our region. Our local fire agencies understand the importance of keeping brush fires small, whether it be within the county or the city. Fires just don't stay within their jurisdictional boundaries, especially during the high fire conditions we've seen here lately. Our agency, as Chief Meacham said, our agency helps out CAL FIRE and San Diego County Fire Protection District, and we get that same help back. We rely on that help, and we rely on that partnership. I want to reassure the public 3 important fundamental strategies our fire agencies embrace. That's prevention, preparedness, and partnership. Year-round, our teams educate, inspect, and enforce fire risk concerns in an effort to reinforce how important it is for the residents and property owners of San Diego to promote and do their part for safe fire communities. Fire prevention and fire-safe communities is a shared responsibility. When it comes to preparedness, all fire agencies stand by ready year-round. But during these critical 5 to 6 months of peak fire season, we put extra measures in place. The public can be confident in the skills and abilities of all of our firefighters. Our crews from all around the county and all of the fire departments train religiously because they know that they can be called upon in a moment's notice. Dense brush hasn't burned in many years, and that's created some volatile fuel for these fires. The experts who study fuel and moisture here in California say that the moisture levels of that fuel are less than half of what they should be at this time of the year. In our city alone, there are more than 45,000 structures along the edges of canyon rims within our department's proactive brush inspection program area. Fires in these areas provide unique challenges to firefighters, and access for emergency vehicles can be difficult depending on where that fire and that canyon location is. We encourage residents to create that 100-foot defensible space around their homes and create buffers between their homes and the canyons. Members of the community we serve should create and practice their emergency plans. It's not too late to do so. As Chief Meacham said, there are many resources and websites out there. We invite you to also visit the sandiego.gov/fire and download your Ready, Set, Go guide, which provides checklists, recommendations, and diagrams that you can use to prepare you and your family for an evacuation. This guide is also available in English and Spanish. Please follow all of the agencies here today, along with their Twitter feeds, for verified and up-to-date information about major incidents in your communities. San Diego Fire Rescue increases our staffing and coordinates with CAL FIRE and San Diego Fire County Fire Protection District resources when the weather conditions create increased fire danger. And we adjust our firefighting resources and the deployment based on the fire activity in the region, not just within the city. Your fire agencies stand by prepared, and we ask the public to be prepared as well. And lastly, I want to recognize and praise the partnership that San Diego Fire Rescue shares with CAL FIRE and our San Diego County Fire Protection District and all of the fire agencies and law enforcement agencies you see here today. We learned a lot from the devastating fires in 2003 and 2007. The partnerships that have developed and strengthened since then have improved our ability to respond and be more efficient during large wildfires. Fire crews, no matter what agency they're from, are able to better communicate using common radios and frequencies, all towards a common goal of coordination. We no longer see jurisdictional boundaries when it comes to fires, and we offer resources to our partnering agencies just as if the fire was in our own land. We share aerial firefighting resources without hesitation, and our ground crews work side by side every day. We've identified what we call mutual threat zones. These are areas that the fires threaten multiple jurisdictions, and we've agreed upon common ordering procedures and communication methods for improved efficiency. And the cooperation and partnership that Chief Meacham mentioned that we have with all of our agencies here in the county, and I enjoy, along with the support of our respective elected officials, goes a long ways towards enhancing the level of fire service that we provide to our residents. San Diegans are all too familiar with high fire conditions that happen at this time of the year. We expect an extremely busy and unfortunately a very damaging fire season this year, and we want everyone to be safe and prepared. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. When you go to those websites, make sure you sign up for the text alert program as well. Because if you get that evacuation notice, you need to evacuate. You need to have a plan, you need to evacuate. Now, if you want to be a firefighter, you can go apply at any one of these agencies. But we don't need you fighting your own fire, and we don't need our law enforcement and fire services having to go to people when there's evacuation notice. So sign up for those alerts, have a plan. When you get that notice, it is time to protect life and let them protect the property. With that, I want to invite up our next speaker is Under Sheriff Kelly Martinez, San Diego County Sheriff's Department. I think Chief Meacham said it best. This is the best firefighting law enforcement agency in the entire country. And we have unique partnerships here, and we appreciate Under Sheriff Martinez and all the San Diego County Sheriff's Department does to support this efforts.
Thank you, Chairman Fletcher. I'd just like to echo a lot of what everyone else has been saying this morning. The partnerships in San Diego County are unprecedented, and they're second to none in the nation. In San Diego, we work very hard to train as a region and keep the county safe when wildfires occur. When there's a fire in your area, watch the news and social media for updates. You can follow the Sheriff's Department at SD Sheriff on social media and our partner agencies for emergency information, including evacuation updates and road closures. The Sheriff's primary mission during a wildfire event is the immediate protection of lives. We work with our fire partners who determine areas in the fire's path that need to be evacuated. When the fire department identifies an area that needs to be evacuated, that's when deputies will go door to door to let people know they need to leave. However, don't wait for the deputies. If you feel unsafe in your area, go ahead and self-evacuate. Be prepared before it's time to evacuate. Pack your car with necessities, medications, and important papers. And when deputies arrive in your area asking you to leave, follow the instructions. They'll provide you with safe routes of travel and evacuation locations. Once an area is evacuated, deputies will man barricades to ensure no one re-enters the area until it is safe to do so. Once it's safe for deputies to enter the area, they will patrol your neighborhoods to prevent looting and other criminal acts. When there's a wildfire event, keep the roads clear for the first responders. Resist that temptation to enter those evacuation areas to take pictures or otherwise sightsee. Don't fly drones in the wildfire zones. If you fly, our helicopters can't, and that activity has the potential to ground critical firefighting aircraft. Last year, Astria responded to 281 fires and conducted more than 1,000 water drops. So far this year, we've responded to 156 fires. I also want to say that the Sheriff's Department really appreciates how well the San Diego region responds during wildfire events. We have so much cooperation from our residents, and we're so grateful for the preparedness that you all do in clearing brush and being ready to evacuate when needed. We all pull together, and we're stronger for it. Thank you.
Our final speaker today is my friend Supervisor Joel Anderson. Supervisor Anderson has represented some of the districts that have been hardest hit and most impacted for many, many years. He's been a leader on fire issues both at the state, and he brings that expertise to us here at the county. He also has personal experience in this, and so I appreciate and value when it comes to fire preparedness and response. There are no divisions here on our board. We all stand ready to do whatever we need to do to meet the need and tackle the problem in front of us, and I appreciate Supervisor Anderson for being here, and welcome to the podium.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome you to District 2, my district. We have been the epicenter for many years of many of the fires. Doesn't matter where they start, they always seem to come through my district. And I want to just share a quick story with you. Over 30 years ago, I moved to Alpine. And I'm Alpine, but actually Harbison Canyon. And we moved in, and within 2 weeks, we had to do our first evacuation. And my wife and I hadn't even thought of it. We had no idea. We were ill prepared. All we knew is we couldn't get back to our house because we were working downtown at the time. And it's important. You've heard from incredible experts today about how to better prepare. And we know that technology has changed too. Because after that first time I went through it, my wife and I bought a video camera and we videotaped everything in our house because you can't possibly remember all your things. And we took that videotape and we brought it into the city of San Diego where we thought it would be safer. Well, today, almost everybody has an iPhone or some sort of phone that has an ability to take a movie, and you have the ability to go throughout your house, take video, and put it in the cloud. Last I checked, no fires have reached the cloud so far, and so it's a great place to store that on the unfortunate instance that you lose your home. Now, having said that, that's why I am so grateful to Chairman Fletcher and my colleagues on the board for not waiting for the next fire, but getting out ahead of the fires and being better prepared and offering more support to all our firefighters and law enforcement. And I'm grateful to everybody who's here and spoke because their hard work have saved many lives. You know, we can replace homes, we can replace cars, but we can't replace people. And alerting folks, getting them out of their homes, getting them to safety is the #1 priority. And I just want to thank you all for the great work you do because you've saved an awful lot of lives. We've lost lives over the years, but we've lost very few as to how many we could lose. And there are better things that we can do approaching this. So we're sending out emails from my office with a checklist trying to help people to better prepare. If somebody wanted to contact my county website, we have a one-stop shop. You've heard a lot of great places to go in the county, different resources. We've tried to put them all together in one stop so people can just go there and do it. But most importantly, I'm grateful to my colleagues and to all the experts that spoke today and all their hard work and all the people that work for them because they really are putting our people first, San Diegans. And I think that that is what changes from Los Angeles or Fresno or any place else in the state. San Diegans are proactive, we love our neighbors, and we want to protect them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Anderson. We appreciate that. And again, thank you to everyone here. San Diego is prepared. We need San Diegans to be prepared as well. I know everyone's been standing for a while. It's a little warm. Everyone here is available for follow-up questions or interviews. But again, I want to extend my appreciation to everyone for joining us here today. And in particular for these individuals you see standing behind me and those that they represent for what they do each and every day. Thank you all.